In Depth with Dr. Bren, A Path with Heart series, Chapter 7, Naming the Demons. In ancient cultures, shamans learned that to name that which you feared was a practical way to begin to have power over it. That's the point of this chapter. We can begin to name and acknowledge many beautiful states that grace our lives: joy, well-being, peace, love, enthusiasm, kindness. This is a way to honor and nurture them. In the same way, naming the difficulties we encounter brings clarity and understanding and can unlock and free the valuable energy bound up in them. Every spiritual path has a language for the common difficulties we encounter. The Sufis call them nafs. The Christian desert fathers who practiced nearly 2,000 years ago in the desert of Egypt and Syria called them demons. For Buddhist meditators, these forces are traditionally personified as Mara, the god of darkness. Whether difficulties or pleasures, the naming of our experience is the first step in bringing them to a wakeful, conscious attention. Mindfully naming and acknowledging our experience allows us to investigate our life, to inquire into whatever aspect or problem of life presents itself to life and to us. Begin by sitting comfortably, focusing awareness on your breathing. As you feel each breath, carefully acknowledge it with a simple name: in-breath, out-breath. Saying the words silently and softly in the back of your mind. As you continue to develop your meditation, the process of naming can be extended to other experiences as they arise in your awareness. You can name the bodily energies and sensations that come up, such as tingling, itching, hot, or cold. You can name the feelings, such as fear or delight. You can then extend the naming to sounds and sights and the thoughts, such as planning or remembering. In developing the naming practice, stay focused on your breathing, unless a stronger experience arises to interrupt your attention. Keep the meditation simple, focusing on one thing at a time. Soon, you will be ready to bring the practice of naming and inquiry directly to the difficulties and hindrances that arise in your life. The 5 most common difficulties that the Buddha describes as the chief hindrances to awareness and clarity are grasping and anger, sleepiness and restlessness, and doubt. Grasping and wanting are 2 names for the most painful aspects of desire. The desires of addiction, greed, blind ambition, and unending inner hunger. As William Blake stated, "Those who enter the gates of heaven are not beings who have no passions or who have curbed the passions, but those who have cultivated an understanding of them." When this demon or difficulty arises, simply name it as wanting or grasping and begin to study its power in your life. When we look at wanting, we experience the part of ourselves that is never content, that is always saying, "If only I had something more that would make me happy." The key is to learn to be aware of this aspect of our nature without being caught up in it. Asking questions like, how long does this kind of desire last? Does it intensify first or just fade away? How does it feel in the body? What parts of the body are affected by it? The gut? The breath? The eyes? What does it feel like in the heart? In the mind? When it is present, are you happy or agitated, open or closed? As you name it, see how it moves and changes. When we look at it, we see that wanting creates a tension, a feeling that we are separate and not whole. But please do not confuse desire with pleasure. There's nothing wrong with enjoying pleasant experiences. George Bernard Shaw said, "There are 2 great disappointments in life: not getting what you want and getting it." The process of such unskillful desire is endless, because peace comes not from fulfilling our wants, but from the moment that dissatisfaction ends. When we study Buddhist psychology, we discover that there are two types of desires: painful desire and skillful desire. Painful desire involves greed, grasping, inadequacy, and longing. On the other hand, skillful desire is born of the same will to do, but directed by love, vitality, compassion, creativity, and wisdom. The second common demon we will encounter is the opposite energy: anger and aversion. This is much more clearly unpleasant. It closes our heart. It is a force that pushes away, condemns, judges, or hates some experience in our life. It can be found in many guises and many faces, in the form such as fear, boredom, ill will, judgment, and criticism. Its force can grow from annoyance to deep fear to hatred and to rage. We can feel for ourselves how fear, judgment, and boredom are all forms of aversion. When we examine them, we see that they are based on our dislike of some aspect of experience. Naming the forms of anger presents us with an opportunity to find freedom in their midst. As you name it, note how long it lasts, what it turns into, how it arises. Name it and notice how anger feels. Where is it in the body? Where do you sense it? Does your body become hard or soft? Do you notice different kinds of anger? When anger arises, what is its temperature, its effect on your health, on your breath, and what degree of pain does it bring? How does it affect your mind? Is the mind smaller, more rigid, tighter? Do you sense tension or contraction? Listen to the voices that come along with it, and what do they say? Can we name the demon and make our hearts big enough to allow both the anger and the subject of the anger to show us their dance? We most often become angry either when we are hurt and in pain or when we are afraid. Pay attention to your own life and see if this is true. Anger shows us precisely where we are stuck, where our limits are, where we cling to beliefs and fears. Aversion is like a warning sign that lights up and says, "Attached, attached." The strength of our anger reveals the amount of our attachment. Usually, our anger is based on our own limited ideas of what should happen. Instead of getting involved in how we want the story to be written, we can begin to face and understand the forces from which anger arises. As with desire, we can study anger and learn whether it can serve us skillfully. Is anger ever valuable? Does it have a value to protection, or is it a source of strength? Is anger necessary to achieve strength, to set limits, or to grow up? Are there other sources besides anger for the strength we seek? Meditation is not a process of getting rid of something, but one of opening and understanding. When we work with anger in meditation, it can become very strong. All the anger that has been held in the body will show itself as tension and heat in the arms, the back, or the neck. When the demons become unmasked, you may feel you are going mad or doing something wrong, but in fact, you have finally begun to face the forces that keep you from living in a loving and fully conscious way.